The next thing is the founder never wanted to involve trans people. Now, according to Jamie, she was never thrilled at the idea of involving trans people at all in Gays Against Groomers. So here we have Jamie, and she says, or this is actually another person. This is not Jamie. So I agree that it is. I'm just trying to figure out how the organization, that was Frank. That's the executive director who I no longer care about his identity, protecting his identity. Um, and I have the unedited thing somewhere, but I did care about it at the time. I don't care anymore. So Frank, the executive director, said, I'm just trying to figure out how, as an organization, we can draw a line in the sand so there isn't room for opinions on matters like these. But we have people that currently do OnlyFans on our team currently, don't we? And then Jamie said, yeah, that's behind a paywall. Also, the satanic shit should never have passed. So Jamie is flat saying that she doesn't believe that people are free to have their religious beliefs if they're Satanists. And again, there are Satanists in the world that don't hurt anyone or do anything, which shows Jamie's lack of understanding about what it is as a belief system. I'm not saying I subscribe to it, but I know people who do, and they're perfectly fine people. They're very fine people, as it were. I don't know why this wasn't sent to Grady or Brandon. Grady is their IT guy. We'll talk about Grady in a bit. Allowing trans people in our org was already something I was not completely happy with doing. But I understand their importance in this fight. Shit like this is sending me, etc., etc. I think they cut it off. And then she said down here, everyone will have different feelings about this. I myself am an LGB without the T person. Should I leave Gays Against Groomers laughing my ass off? These messages were circulated among members of Gays Against Groomers, and they angered several members, including both trans members who support the involvement of trans members as a critical component of fighting grooming. My dog is losing it. Can you guys hear my dog? It's because there's a snowstorm, like a really big snowstorm, and the plows are outside doing their thing. Anyway, a whistleblower who was a member of the executive leadership before voluntarily exiting the organization, and this is important. Jamie has said that everyone I talked to was fired. No, that's not true. Everyone I talked to was not fired. In fact, I talked to some people that were still members. But this person that I talked to voluntarily left the organization, was not fired, wasn't in the executive leadership of the organization before they chose to leave. Let's see. This person told me several members had strong objections to the organization's using language about transition surgery, calling it mutilation. While everyone agrees that the medicalization is inappropriate for minors, and we also need to put a pin on that because Frank is going to talk about that in our next article, those in the organization who transitioned as adults did not feel they had mutilated themselves. So how would surgery be mutilation for children, but not mutilation for adults? It didn't make sense. So this language thing was actually a really sticky point for a lot of trans people. They tried to have conversations with Jamie about different language options, etc., etc., and she just did not want to hear it at all. When the public infighting, which we'll discuss in a little bit, started on March 7th, Jamie was quick to remind everyone she was an advocate for LGB without the T on Timcast IRL. One departing member told me that they felt this was a passive-aggressive jab at them, and it confirmed to them that they had done the right thing by leaving. So Jamie basically said that on Timcast, and then she posted it on Twitter when there was public infighting going on in the organization, and it quite frankly pissed trans people and their allies, for lack of a better term. It pissed them off. Oh, someone just told that crazy woman that you and I are the same person, Sin? Of course they did. Guys, you're all me. I am magically teleporting myself into other people in the chat right now, according to these deranged psychopaths. Sin is somehow typing in the chat right now, even though we're the same person. Jamie has repeatedly stated that she believes Gays Against Groomers is the best and possibly our only hope for defeating grooming. Given that position, I have some more questions. Does Jamie feel, and Jamie, again, we know you're watching. If you want to tweet your answers to these questions, I am more than happy to add them to the article. Does Jamie feel that trans people have a role in fighting grooming? If she does, then why wouldn't she want to include them in her organization? Is it possible for Gays Against Groomers to be the best organization fighting grooming without the involvement of adult trans people leading the charge? If Jamie does not feel that trans people have a role in fighting grooming, then why not? Is she pandering to the interests of the Christian right who want to expel trans people from their ranks? Uh, isn't more people fight? Here's a big question I have, and this is going to be a theme. Isn't more people fighting grooming better than less people fighting grooming? I think so, but Jamie appears to disagree. Does Jamie respect the rights of adults to live how they see fit, including getting trans surgery as adults? Does Jamie agree or disagree with the idea that adult trans people have a critical message to send about the benefits of waiting to transition until later in life?